Excited to release the Forge on time for the first piece of the NFT cult drop. We're going to be going to do it, the two of us here momentarily. But before we do that, let's talk about some of the mechanics that we've built in and why people shouldn't necessarily overindulge themselves in the Forge and some of the game theory that we've built in. We wanted to create a token that was community focused, that gave everyone access to this. And we also wanted to introduce concepts that were deflationary. Obviously, as NFT culture grows, we are going to have to have a second gen, third gen, fourth gen if we continue doing this. But whatever we do, if there's future utility tokens, we will airdrop any token holders of this token access to future ones that they're able to sell and hopefully benefit off of. But first and foremost, we wanted to get this right. But with that, we came up with some great ideas. We have an artist behind the scenes that is absolutely incredible and impeccable. And I firmly believe, and I've said this before, that I believe that this artist could be one of the quintessential artists of the NFT space. And I'm super excited to see what the airdrop piece starts to look like here once we're ready for that discussion. So Mike, while I'm blasting this out and sharing it with everybody, what are your thoughts?
Well, this was a bit of a stressful couple of weeks. Like after we did the drop and drop went really well. There was a tiny little bit of gas issue at the beginning, but we sorted that really fast. And it was pretty much smooth until sellout. So, I'm not historically a front-end dev. I'm more of a back-end dev. So it's definitely been a challenging 2 weeks to get the Forge UI completed, but it's definitely come a long way, and it's, I think, ready to go for at least this first version of it. We still will be adding on to it with the sacrificial Forge and the additional character in a couple more weeks from now. But yeah, I think it's a pretty clean little fun UI to mess around with. The forging is a really cool feature for people who have heard me talking about it. I kind of came up with a little bespoke algorithm to power it behind the scenes, so that the metadata is fixed and the images can be altered via some math formulas I came up with. So the Forge kind of exposes just the surface of that. You can see your little table of all your tokens that you own, and you can try different combos of different stuff and see what works. And we've obviously already told people the combos that will work today, which is silver and gold of the same character. But I kind of wanted to roll this out slow with one little piece at a time so that people can kind of learn the mechanics of it. And then eventually, once people really kind of wrap their heads around the fact that, hey, this is actually infinitely expandable, and not fully infinite, but
pretty
as
close.
big as we practically would want to do. I don't think we'd ever make the collection 3,333 unique individual pieces, but in theory, you can get pretty close to that if that's where the community wants to go with it. So, but I think at the end of the day, if we can, come out with a few cool artworks from different people, get those in there, finish up the planned artworks with the artist that did the original pieces, I think it'll be a really cool, unique collection. And it's certainly something I'll be proud of for the rest of my working career, because it's been a long road of late nights and some heated debates with me and you and other people. So yeah, it's been fun.
Definitely. One of the things that's interesting is we used to make fun of the devs, like when it launches and something goes awry or amiss and the dev's asleep. And how could the dev be asleep? And it's like, well, no, like no matter how hard you work, and we've actually started supporting like a few, just not even consulting fees, just like helping people that paying it forward, right? we were helped by a few projects behind the scenes to make sure that we were able to launch. And now we're helping some other projects, and you just pay it forward. You do everything that you can. But it's funny that, we criticize the dev because they fall asleep. And no matter how well you plan everything, no matter how good the Solidity contract is, like the interaction between the front end and the back end, that's where, it's what is it between I don't know the acronym anymore because I'm so far out of it, but it's like between the head and the keyboard, right? Between the Solidity and between the like myriad of options from iPhone to Android to Windows to Mac to MetaMask and Fortmatic and everything. Like that's where 99% of the issues come up. And so it's just interesting to see how difficult some of that can be.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like a lot of these projects are done kind of outside the scope of the corporate world, where you have a big team of support people to kind of smooth the edges of the projects. And so it's definitely given me a newfound respect for the projects that take it seriously and don't try to just copy paste the projects and stuff, because it is like doing one of these from the ground up. It is a lot of work, especially if it's a really small team, because not only are you the developer and the UI person and the support person, you're the manager of a team, and you have just so much going on. You have to do marketing. There's so many pieces, and it's hard for a small team to have all those skill sets. Accounting, we don't even have accounting, so there's just so many little
Shout out to EAS.
Yeah, we've been talking to him a tiny bit, so that's been super helpful. But yeah, it's just a lot of little moving parts. So you want to get this thing on screen? I'm excited to show people.
I mean, I'm nervous, And so here's the thing: before we go live with showing the entire thing, I want to say a couple like words of caution. Is like we've intentionally built the contract so that depending on how forging occurs, we've staggered forging, and we have an awesome announcement next week in between the forges that'll be beneficial to anyone who has forged. This is not part of the roadmap. We will still commit to taking care of everything that we've committed to with the roadmap, but an external party has come in and is so bullish on NFT culture in their own project that they want to benefit the forgers. So this is completely contradictory to what I'm about to say, but the forging mechanics that we do now are going to have impact on the future forging mechanics. And so supply and demand, there is a little bit of game theory here that we do not control. And this is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And so just make sure that you're thoughtful. Don't rush. Like wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast, as Shakespeare likes to say. And so, with that, let's take a closer look. I hope it works, Mike. So, all right. So you and someone may be able to forge ahead of me because now we've gone ahead and done this. And so to get this out on time, we've done a couple different things. The sacrifice, which is the fourth character, is currently unavailable. And I have 3 left in my personal wallet. NFT Culture has a number. I've been giving some of these away myself to people who have been critical to our success, or people that have been rewarded, or other giveaways and other Discords. And so right now in this wallet, I have 2 Empresses. I have a silver Empress and a gold Empress. And so I'll click both of these, and this will allow me to perform this ceremony for my 2-tone.
And let me talk through a couple elements of the UI too for people who are watching, which I think will help people understand this a little bit more. So basically, the way the UI, the intention of the UI is you see your whole your wallet, all of the Nifty Cult tokens in your wallet. You can click through the check boxes and try to make different combinations. And if you have a valid combination that will forge, then you'll get your image replaced in the appropriate one of the 2 preview buckets.
You're giving away some alpha here.
True.
Like and this is important to think about. Like if you're a dev, like we're giving away part of our secret. Like we have n number of future forging potentials. Like we can do a lot of different things moving forward. And in the blockchain view of transparency, which if you knew what to look for, you'd find it. But we have a lot of future potential with this, and this was purpose built to be future proof, to continue to add value. And so when we think about how everything adds up and how we're going to be combining things for the future Forge, we're going to do some really cool stuff in the future. We're going to reward artists that have been early on with us and give them opportunities. We want to do community voting and otherwise. So I'm really looking forward to see how this moves, because the next Forge isn't necessarily the last Forge. There's a lot of future potential.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's kind of this is kind of more of a groundwork for the system versus the end state. So and Malachi's kind of touched on this a lot. Like, we don't control how much people forge. Like, if people go and burn all the golds or something by forging them all away, like, we have no control over that. So hopefully everybody kind of does what they want to do so that they get the pieces that they want, but also definitely take some time and think about what you're going to forge before you just go in here and do it. Because yeah.
Well, there's also,
and we don't control it at the end of the day.
We have no control over the outcome after, well, this video.
Well, once I turned it on live about 30 minutes ago, it's completely out of my hands now. So,
and that, this is interesting because when you think about the properties, when you think about, and we had talked before launching, we were going to do all the gold to silver distributions equal among characters, but we were going to sneak in a different distribution with one of the characters, but we thought that might break the game theory a little bit too much. And so depending on the outcome of this, it's going to affect the outcome of the next one. It's going to affect properties. It's going to affect all future drops. And so once we, release this into the world, it's going to be a little bit crazy. And Danny's asking about this extra gift. It's TBD. We're gonna have some folks on stream next week, and we'll let them talk about that a little bit more. Anything else before I just click this perform ceremony button?
Okay, so just to reinforce that it's a serious decision, because you are burning the two pieces that you checked. I pop up that modal just to be double extra sure. You can always cancel out. All right.
So two pieces you are going to remove two NFTs.
Yes.
And get a new NFT.
The gold and the silver finish empresses of, the supply of those is reduced by 1 when you click this button. And they'll be replaced by a new third token, which is a 2-tone token, which is unique.
Ooh, gas is cheap right now. And that's the thing, everyone, you need to know, like, we don't control the gas. We can't make it free. But right now it's going up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click.
Yeah, hopefully you.
And I had to click it twice.
You had to click what twice?
The gas twice. Yes, Kevin, you can perform it right now. If you wanna be ahead of me and you want to pound gas through and get it done, let's go.
Hey, what did you click twice? Don't click things twice.
Well, it'll fail. That's fine.
Okay, one of them might fail.
That's okay. All right, so we're waiting.
Yeah, if we pull up those transactions in Etherscan.
Oh, I only clicked it once. Sorry. Okay. It was to interact with the contract, which is queued. And so my second one failed.
Okay. Did you get a token ID? Yes, you did. See the token ID 266? Yep. So if you F5. So once you see that token ID show up, if you refresh, and now you'll see that you have your, see at the bottom?
Oh, my Empress?
Yeah, your token ID Empress, and she's a 2-tone.
Oh, so, nice. Oh, yeah. Nice. But you can't view her here yet, can you?
No, there's no, I haven't done the viewing. Like, I wanted to make sure. So one of the things that I had to balance is the loading times on that page for people with, like big collections.
600.
Yeah, so I'm trying to work on the performance of the page so that it still loads when you have a big wallet.
But it worked.
Yes, and if you open up OpenSea, you'll get your 266. But
will it be a new? Um, will it be new or will 266? Okay, so I do 266, and then I go back and it looks the exact same as it used to. So this is an issue that MetaMask has, right?
well, if you are you looking at it in OpenSea?
Yep. So this is
Okay.
266.
So this is one just point for people to note is OpenSea is slow with metadata. The way that you can tell that it worked, of course, is that on my page, you see that it shows as two-tone finish now.
Right.
So if
So you can always go back and see, I have 2 tokens left,
Yep.
and I hit refresh on nftcult.io / the forge. I can see that I had 3. Now I have 2, and one of them is gold and one of them is two-tone.
Yep. So that's how you know for sure that it worked. MetaMask will, or, sorry, OpenSea will eventually. I think people say it takes about 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Yes.
So we do have to wait for the metadata to refresh on OpenSea. You can go ahead and click the little refresh button. I don't know if that button actually does anything. It might just be a placebo effect.
Yeah.
If for some reason you do one and it takes longer than, say, an hour to refresh, there's a API endpoint that can be used to force it to refresh. So we can help get your tokens refreshed. Sometimes they need a little bit of a kick.
And so just so everyone knows, like this is just to do the two-tone, right? So you could hypothetically, if you're willing to wait 2 more weeks, you could do all silver. So if you like silver or gold more than the two-tone, you could have a silver or gold character, or you could do 2 different paths. And what's interesting, just dropping a little bit of information, if you wait, you can do it in 2 transactions. And if you do it now, it's 3 transactions, right? Because I'm doing two-tone of 3 characters versus two-tone 2. Oh, well, actually, it's the same. My bad. No, it's still 1 fewer transaction. But the results of this are also going to have an impact on properties. So everyone knows they're going to have an impact on everything. And the reason that we're doing this is not only to just reward our awesome, amazing community. And this is why we built this token was community. But we also wanted to push the envelope, right? Like we had Mad Dog Jones came out early on Nifty Gateway with the forge mechanic for cats, .pigeon. Others started following it. Greg Mike started following it, and that's great. Like we send something to 0.0000000, and we get a reward. And then we had goats that came out and goblins and all that type of stuff. But what we wanted to show is like there are n number of possibilities in an affordable contract that people can do. And part of what we do at NFT Culture is try to push the envelope. And we honestly believe, and if we're wrong, I apologize. And I'd love to see those contracts. I'd love to have Mike look through them. But the complexity of this contract and the variability to say, let's do a community vote and let's find 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th forge mechanic that provides not just removal, but also customization is huge. And so the possibility with NFTs right now is endless. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. We want to reward the people. We want to have a deflationary token that rewards the people that wanted to be a part of our community early. But we also wanted to show the world like how much possibility is there. And yeah, Mike, you're not a UX guy, but it still works. And sorry about the MetaMask versus, Ledger and all the other things that we're trying to do. But the immediacy and the 80-20 or Pareto principle, we wanted to make sure that we're making this accessible to as many people as possible. And we're going to come back and we're going to clean it. And if you're a dev or you have an awesome idea, reach out to us. Like moving forward, I'm not going to be able to help because of what I do, but the rest of the team is open to helping anyone who wants to do anything really cool with NFTs. Like let's push the envelope. Let's get away from PFPs. Let's do cool shit. And let's do it together. That's all this is about.
Yeah, for sure. And that it's really, really hard to just circling back to the wallet thing. Like this code is better than the minting code as far as wallet connections go, but is it where it needs to be to support all the wallets? Probably not. So we'll keep trying to do our best to get as many wallets as supported. I will say, technically, you can still. Awesome.
It worked.
Sweet.
Someone
that part always makes me nervous.
So how long till refresh? When refresh?
Yeah.
But what's interesting, and this could be a future improvement, is to let users select if they wanted to have a silver frame and a gold eye, which I wish we had thought of. We didn't. Our Discord thought about it. But this could be a future improvement because of the way the contract is built.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could totally make that configurable in the future. I will say, like, smaller tweaks like that don't go as far as like big new splashy tweaks like new characters. So definitely we should consider it, though, depending on
well, we could charge a fee, right? Like 0.01, like something
yeah.
something, because once again, the way this contract is built, like we had to charge something, but it's like as small as it possibly can be to mint. But in the future, like you could add customization and other types of things. So by the way, there are 40 plus founders tokens. Doesn't make you a founder. This is not a cult. But you have the opportunity to fill out a form. If you wanted to just burn one, you could. But if you just forge one, and after you forge it, just DM me or Mike or Pio or Rob or John, and we'll get it set up. And the way Mike built the contract, we're going to airdrop one of those open burn slots with your founder's token.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to talk about. Do you remember what the IDs were that you just...
I do, but I'm not going to pull it up now.
Oh, you don't need to. So Malachi just burned 2 tokens in order to get this number 266. One of them was 266. The other one was probably like 267, I'm assuming. So that slot that's open, which is probably 267, still is assigned to his wallet inside the contract. So that's kind of the concept of burn minting, which can be an airdrop for something like a founder's token, or it can be a configurable thing later on when we have a library of art for people to pick from. So regardless of which one of those two ways, you can eventually repopulate your slot with a new piece of art. So the important detail is, like, the collection will always be 3,333 slots. There's no way for us to burn a slot. It'll always be 3333. What is the game theory in it is those original mint pieces, those are going to gradually reduce down to a small subset of the entire collection. These two tones have obviously an upper bound of how many there can be because they have their input parameters. So there's going to be kind of always a varying amount of rarity in the collection, and it's kind of just up to token holders and the community to figure out, what the right balances are.
I love it. And we have no idea what's going to come, right?
Yeah.
The only thing we know is, like, how we have a number of artists. And if you're an awesome artist and you want to participate, let us know. We want to make this accessible, but we also want it to be deflationary. We want to create value. We're not going anywhere. Clearly, we've doxed ourselves, so we want to make sure that we were building a community that's here to stay, and we've done it with awesome people. And I could thank a million people. And I already, talk often about Danny and Sass, Nick and Nevin and Corey and Sven, Talvir, Joff. Like, we could go on and on and on. I mean, Christian, like, there's so many people to thank. Paper D. I have to stop, but we need to have like a credits roll at the end, like we did on Patreon, because there's so many people that have had an impact on us and our lives, and it allows us to do the DD and the research. And today was a special day for me in particular because we found this. The grills drop I randomly found, and I was able to find it's 1 of 500, and I was able to drop it to our community in early August, and it's worth 1.8 ETH now, and it was free. And so when we think about NFTs changing lives, my only ask is let's stay positive. Right now, short term, we're going to see a lot of negativity over the next 48 hours. We're seeing, people with stones and glass houses from a lot of different areas starting to throw them. And we're entering a new phase where for the last 4 months in NFTs, we've talked about how positive it is. And now NFTs are getting real and now people are being affected by it. And so just stay positive, stay out of the fray, do what you can do. If you like the Forge, if you like the two-tone more than the silver or the gold, do it. It's going to be awesome. And yes, it's deflationary to become one. There is that potential to airdrop some of those into those new slots, but it's inherently going to be purpose built that we don't fill the same number of slots, and it'll be likely another burn mechanic that you have to engage in to fill any number of the previous slots. And so I could see a scenario where we launch 3,333 tokens. Continuing transparency and candor. We're not the people that bought the 600. I'm appreciative that some brokers were willing to buy the floor for some people that we have no idea who they are. I've done as much DD as I could, and I've asked all the questions. In fact, we're going to bring that broker on to talk. Had no idea, but to talk about NFT brokerage and why middlemen or women exist in the space. But there's a lot of this that's out of our control, and we've done it intentionally. If we had launched the tokens and made sure that we controlled all of the supply, it would have been inherently against the ideas of blockchain and DeFi and decentralization. And so we did take a risk, and a lot of this was out of our control. And so when you think about what's going to be happening moving forward, there's a lot that we're going to discover. And I'm really looking forward to this future. I can't wait to just continuing to talk more about the future of NFTs. Nick and I talked earlier this week about utility and gaming. Pio's testing new waters with all the things he's talking about. Rob's popping on stream. John's popping on stream. Mike, you've been heads down, still popping on stream. Probably need a nap. And, here's the question. Are we going to New York?
I mean, I really want to go to New York because I think there's so many new relationships that I've formed over the last 9 months, and I'd love to meet some of those people in person. So I'm going to do everything I can to get there. It's always hard. I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, so somebody's got to take care of them when I'm in New York. So that's kind of the piece I'm trying to put together.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. One or some of us will be there in New York, and if you're not going to NFT NYC, you should try. I
would love to do a Nifty Culture meetup there. That would be so super awesome because there's just so many people that I'd love to be able to put a face to their.
I'd love to do a happy hour.
Yeah, happy hour would be amazing.
And then
or whatever. I mean, just hanging out and going to whatever booths there are and all that kind of stuff. Whatever events are there.
I was saying let's throw our own event.
2 hours, college days,
hors d'oeuvres and beers, man.
Some cheap, crappy flyers, hand those out.
Mike, we've been doing this for 22 years.
Yep, it's crazy.
I love it.
It's a wild ride. Nifties are a wild ride.
NFTs change lives.
That's true.
It's awesome. And now we get to take a couple days off. We got an announcement. Jason Seife's coming on tomorrow. I'm not supposed to talk about that. NFT happy hour. Talking about his new project with Larry P. Next week we have the surprise announcement for forgers, which this isn't an encouragement to forge, but if you are a forger or forged, you will get an airdrop that's out of our control, but it was their decision, and we are incredibly grateful and thankful that they're willing to participate and do that. And I think it's going to be additional value. And then 2 weeks from now, maybe less, we're going to release the final forge mechanic for this phase. Is that true?
Well, we were hoping for end of the month. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. There's not really any actual coding work that needs to be done for that end of the month deadline. It's just trying to give the artist time to go through his process. So that's moving along, but you know how artists are. They need to be
Incredible,
inspired.
awesome, perfect.
Yeah. I always say coding is like art. I mean, it's as much art as it is science, just trying to figure out creative ways to solve problems. So I get how it is. Sometimes you just, need to be in the right headspace. So,
Danny with the DD or the BD. We'll make sure we don't release the next one before the 22nd. How about that?
that seems good.
And then Halloween, what do you want to do?
Oh, you mean a month and 2 weeks from now?
No, I mean, whatever. I should shut up.
Yeah, don't reveal anything.
All right.
Yeah, we haven't sorted out
Shared.
yet.
All right.
It would be cool to do something before Nifty NYC, but yeah.
It would. Like a way to get cheap beer and chicken wings if you're in NFC NYC. Oh man. Any final thoughts?
Now I'm just excited to see what people think. And if you have any problems, just try to reach out to us on Discord. You know where to find me. Or Mal. So just reach out. Or Too Perfect in the Discord has been awesome. We should do a shout out for him. He's been crushing
absolutely
it as our mod.
Mike. Yep,
the mics. So just reach out to either me or Mal or Too Perfect, and we'll get you sorted.
Absolutely, and just thank you to Pio. He's going to be coming back with more regular content. Thank you to Rob and John and Mike. I mean, this is awesome, and I'm incredibly thankful and looking forward to everything that's coming after this. So everyone, keep your heads down. We started this channel, we started this website, we started this Twitter, we started this Instagram, we started everything because we love NFTs. And Mike didn't buy politics is bullshit #1 to just go into the night. And so we're here. We're not going anywhere. Let's have a lot of fun. We're going to be here through the ups and the downs, and that's the value. It's community, it's friendship, it's trust. And so stick around. We've got a lot coming. Take care.